DAO Watch episode 14. In this episode, we cover the usual suspects, PIVX and Evmos. Our special guest DAO this episode is DAODAO. DAODAO is built on top of Juno network. Also, I released a book and I've got a link to that in the description. So if you want to go and check that out, I would much appreciate it. This is DAO Watch episode 14. I am your charismatic host, Cryptosi. And yeah, let's get into it. Welcome to DAO Watch episode 14. You're going to have to excuse my voice. I've had a very wild weekend, and that is why this episode is a little bit late. Bank holiday weekend here in the UK, and it's been eventful. Okay, got a great episode lined up, and I'm going to attempt to get through this one a lot quicker. The 1 hour format is a little bit long, so let's see if we can get this one down to 45 minutes again, and hopefully moving forward they should be around the 30-minute mark. Without any further ado, let's get going. So as you can see behind me, this lovely background, or the rest of the screen I should say, is from DAODAO. I've been speaking about DAOs quite a lot, and some people came for me at Twitter. And those same people said I should look into DAODAO. I've heard quite a lot about DAODAO, but I haven't actually looked into it. So could this be the thing? I'm going to say something quite controversial, but could DAODAO be the thing that saves Juno? As we all know, Juno has been, it's a Cosmos-based project. I say Cosmos-based, people don't like when I say that. I don't care what you don't like. Cosmos-based project that has been on the slide since it was released. People who staked Cosmos got a bunch of it in an airdrop. Subsequently, the price ramped up. There was a lot of hype behind Juno. Reached a high of around $45, I think. Around $45. Well, here it says $45, and since then it's just been horrific. Really, it's just been horrific, and it seems like Juno cannot catch a break. We're at the all-time low now, but DAODAO has arrived, and DAODAO is starting to become quite useful. But let's go through the projects in our usual order, which will be Dash, PIVX, Evmos, and then our special guest DAODAO. And for Dash, we've got a real treat. I'm going to say right off the bat, I think this is possibly the best proposal I have ever seen. Possibly the best proposal I've ever seen, including proposals that even I've created myself. So this proposal is for Dash Incubator. For those that watch the show regularly, Dash Incubator and PIVX Labs, I would say, are two of the best things to come out of DAOs in their history, because what they are is they are non-core development groups. So they're groups of people who are not in the core group, not in the get along gang, not in the anointed ones, and they develop stuff. Dash obviously have a bigger budget, and I think they've been at it for longer than PIVX Labs, and it looks like they're taking a lead now. They've really ramped up their productivity, and it's in particular their reporting over the past, let's say 3 quarters, culminating in these videos which they've got. Obviously, Dash are lucky enough to have Amanda B. Johnson and her manslave, I think she still calls him. I don't know if she still calls him that, but she used to. She's a star from a content creation area of crypto from even when I first got in, so maybe 2013. She's probably making videos from that far back, maybe even earlier. So they've got videos with her now, and a guy called Ryan, which is spelled R-I-O-N. So I'm not sure if it's Rion or Ryan. But they're doing really great. They're doing great updates every week now. So what do I like about this proposal? Or what is the proposal for? The proposal's to fund them. It's 1,000 Dash per month, which is around $50,000, which is it's nothing in the grand scheme of things. We're going to see some much higher proposals in a little while, and it's great, really. with the money that they get, they spend it on various different things. So here's a breakdown that they've put in their proposal of the things that they spend it on. Incubator updates. They've got different strategists. So they've got 3 different guys who kind of focus on different things. Rion's the main guy, kind of the main guy. It's difficult. If you're from a technical point of view, you may say that Spectre Prod's the main guy. But anyway, Rion's doing helping with AnyPay. Electrum Dash falls under his Dash domain and DNS. I guess that's Incubator on GitHub, and the proposal fee. So there's a breakdown of what they're spending their money on: atomic swaps, Dash stamp, interactive Dash ecosystem web page. This guy's doing the Maya integration, the Summoners platform game, the Rust Dash RPC client. So it breaks down exactly what they're doing, and they're doing loads. All right, and we've got the videos here. So we'll go through the pros and cons as we always do. And what I really most like about this proposal is how well it's presented. We've got the videos integrated. There's some nice graphs here about what's been requested and what's been paid out. And a nice little pie chart here showing what they're actually spending their money on. And these are helpful because they show how much of a portion different things are. So CrowdNode is quite big. This Maya integration is possibly a little bit bigger than it should be. It just goes to show, once you look at this Maya integration on the background of all of this other things, you kind of see that, well, this was possibly a bit of a risk. As I showed you before, this actual breakdown of what they're spending on, and then they've got all these links, and all of these links are to different videos, and each video's, I don't know, some of them are roughly an hour long, but they are this one's only 20 minutes, well, that will teach me, but they are all very good. There's one in particular, which is this one about privacy, which I if you're interested in privacy and still in Dash or have left, it'll be interesting. That's an interesting video to watch. You should watch that one. Broken down by people. So Rion's broken his down, what his like, and this is their reporting. So in their proposal, they're reporting on previous things that they've done, and then they say what they're going to do. So it's very concise. He wants to fund a hackathon, which I'm excited about. You know, I love hackathons. Ash Francis shows his videos, and Tim Munsell has got his video as well. The schedule and budget in. All of this is it's just brilliant. Anybody who is planning on creating a proposal, I think this is the standard by which all proposals should be made. So kudos to you guys. Great job. Very well done. This one, there's not really any controversy at all. Let's see how many people have voted no. 16 people have voted no. I genuinely don't know why. I can't think of why. Prior to starting to record, I did try to think, what could I have as some of the cons? What are the bad points about this proposal? If I was to nitpick, no. This maybe this uneasy alliance with Maya integration, maybe with Maya protocol, sorry, maybe that, if anything at all, but even that, in the eyes of what's happening, especially in America with crypto, DEXs are a big deal. I think there's more genuine volume on DEXs than there are on centralized exchanges. Yeah, so I couldn't find any cons. So how would I vote? Obviously, I vote yes on this. I think that these guys they're a breath of fresh air, as non-core teams usually are. They're a breath of fresh air. I love the work that they're doing towards privacy. I love the way that they're this well documented. Things are broken down. Their proposal is better than the core team's proposal by a long shot. And for that reason, they seem to be, I was going to say, more well organized, and they just seem to be hitting their targets better. This is not a slight against core. It's just to say that these guys are doing really well. So with that one, it's a yes. And it's a very easy one. The key takeaway being that this is the best proposal that I think I've seen in my entire time. Let's move on. Let's move on to PIVX. PIVX. Loads of space at the moment because the monthly budget has been giant sized, which I think is reflected in the PIVX price dropping. I think it's reflected in that. There's a lot more money going out. There's a lot more money being created. Masternode owners are earning a little bit more, but the budget is a lot bigger. Which did seem like a controversial move at the time, but it has allowed for quite a lot more things to be built. So there's more core developers, and PIVX Labs are allowed to take a bit more. And then there was obviously those whopping payments for the integrations that we featured on the last video. This proposal we're going to look at today is one by a guy called Shorn. Now, this is a marketing proposal, marketing fundamental tasks and campaigns. Now, basically in this proposal, what Shorn is proposing is that he's going to complete some marketing tasks. He does say quite clearly right at the end is that he's still a contributor to the PIVX DAO, and he's not going to be in a management role or in charge of anybody else. So all of the work that he's doing, he will be doing himself, and he's not taking on a role similar to, let's say, Rion here, where he's overseeing other people doing other things. So he's going to be doing some things. The thing I like about this proposal is that he's set out his deliverables quite well, and there's a few which are really good that I did pick out whilst I was looking into this proposal. He did say that he wants to increase the amount of traffic going to the PIVX Discord, which means increasing the community size. I think that's very important, especially when you've got PIVX in the place that it is now, which I would say is quite a good place, where you've got the core developers and you've got PIVX Labs on the side, they're pretty much the core they're not the core. They're almost the core developers now. They're doing most of the heavy lifting now. So onboarding new users is, I would say, easier than ever. If we look at these proposals, I would say 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd say 4 of the proposals have come from outside of what was the core of PIVX a year ago. So there's the majority of the thing is onboarding new people or bringing new people into the governance cycle, into the proposal cycle. So with that said, the fact that he's planning on building up the Discord is a very good thing. He talks about his own background, things that he's done before. He's worked for Red Bull, Citron, and Rauch, whoever they are, just to name a few. One of the cons about this proposal, which I actually commented on this pretty much immediately. One of the cons is that there's no links in the proposal. So he says that he designed and built the new PIVX Foundation website. Where is it? Because you're not linked to it. So, like, who knows what you've done? Like, who knows? Like, it could be horrific. I've got to get the door. Okay, I am back. Sorry, that was my father-in-law. She came to deliver some stuff for us out in the country. So, where was I? Yes, I was just saying how much I loved this proposal by Shorn. We was looking to go through the pros and cons. So the pros are that he's aiming to grow the community. Oh, out of breath, ran back up the stairs. Aiming to grow the community. He's planning to share the Discord KPIs. KPIs are key performance indicators. And that'll be quite interesting. Unfortunately, they're not being shared at the moment. PIVX is a bit upside down in that sense, but it would be interesting to know the Discord KPIs. He's planning to use AI, which will make him a lot more productive. I did say that in my little summary that I posted here, that he's planning to use AI. That'll mean that he'll probably be able to get through a lot more work in a lot more time. The fee that he's charging is 10,000 PIV, which for 20 hours of work, so 10,000 PIV part-time, it's about $2,700. In the UK, which is where Shorn is from, sorry to dox, but he has said it in public channels, I would say that that's about right. That would put him on about 50k per year, which for somebody of his age and experience is possibly a little bit low. Depends on where in the country he is. In the south, it would be maybe a little bit low. In the north, it would be about right. So I'd say that's a fair payment. Although I don't like to judge people on their geographical placing, I do think that it's a fair wage for somebody with his level of experience. So I did also like that. The bad points about this proposal, the main one is that there's no talk of social media. Now, there is a social media proposal which has been put in by, I hope it's by Lacey Mack, and she's got links. So yeah, she's put in a proposal. I haven't actually. I think I may have done this. I think I may have looked over this proposal in previous episodes. But she's put in a proposal. So as the marketing guy, or as a marketing guy, there should be some discussion about how he's going to interact with the person who's doing the social media, because in this day and age, a big part of marketing is social media, both in terms of looking at analytics, improving SEO, getting a message out there, brand awareness, onboarding funnels. A lot of that is to do with social media. So the fact that there's no social media discussion in here at all is a little bit worrying. I think they need to, between them, discuss what's going on. It would be helpful for everybody if they discussed what was going on between them, and some of it was presented. There is some discussion about the work he's been doing with PIVX Labs. So he does coordinate with other departments, which is a good thing, which is pretty important. But it would be good if he coordinated also with the social media. How am I going to vote in this proposal? For me, it's quite an easy yes. I think this guy epitomizes the new school. So it's good to have new people in PIVX. He hasn't been in PIVX that long. I think he came across from BlockDX, so it's really good to have new people in. And he's experienced, and he's done some parts for PIVX before. The proposal formatting, just in terms of links, could do with a little bit of work. I'd love maybe a little summary as well at the start. But yeah, it's a yes from me. It's a nice proposal. It's just helping the PIVX DAO to grow, and it's focusing on the right things. So that one's a yes. And let's move on. We're going to go to Evmos. Now, the first thing, I know I keep on beating this horse and keep on beating this drum, but the first thing to notice is that in the entire month of April, it's now May the 2nd, but the entire month of April, Evmos only had on its DAO, they only had 2 proposals. Both proposals are add-ons to their decks, both proposals, and both proposals were put forward by the same small group called the Evmos DAO, authored by the Evmos DAO and Forge on that proposal, and on this proposal, which we're going to look at today, was authored by the Evmos DAO and Forge and somebody from Revert Finance. So what is today's proposal? Today's proposal for Evmos, which has already passed, there's only 2 proposals per month, so really. Actionable analytics management and incentive tools for liquidity providers by Revert Finance. So what this overall will do is it will bring Revert Finance over to Evmos and allow users to use Revert Finance with this new Forge Dex. Forge Dex is using UniV3. UniV3 has all these little extra nuanced tools that you can use that change the way you provide liquidity to a DEX. It's all very, very DeFi. But to sum it up, I would say Revert, what they do is they allow usability. They make it much more usable. So they make it much more easier for a person to add their liquidity or to track their liquidity or to make their liquidity more efficient in a UniV3 based DEX. So for me, I think it's one of those things that is definitely worth having. Now, how much are they charging for this? For this, they are charging 200,000 Evmos, which equates to being about $60,000, I believe. So it's not peanuts by any stretch of the imagination. Oh, one thing I didn't actually mention is that Revert it was built in a hackathon. I just thought I'd throw that in there because I love hackathons, and if you're not into them, you should try to watch as many of them as you can, because you see small people make small tools like this. It definitely wouldn't have been this polished when they started, but you see people make these small tools, and you know the tools then mature. They get funding. I think these guys got funding from Encode Club, which was probably where the hackathon was, and FinTech Collective, and then they become fully fledged projects. I don't believe they've got their own token, but they're going to get $60,000 to be paid to join Evmos, and there's going to be a lot of liquidity going through their tooling. So yeah, they're asking for $60,000. The deliverables, let's cover next. After 1 month, there will be the incentive tools, vested fee-free staker contract, vested fee-free staker front end. So these vesting tools, I'm assuming they're going to be very similar to this. It will probably be a question of you click here, and as well as choosing Polygon or Ethereum, I'm assuming you'll get Evmos will be a choice. That's not where you click. Oh, I don't know how you change networks, but there should be a network change button somewhere. So that'll be after 1 month. So 2 months later, analytics and indexing. So analytics for existing positions. LPs are able to track profit and loss, APR fees. That'll be after 2 months. After 3 months, there'll be a position management and auto compounder, initiator and backtester for forge pools, etc., etc. After 4 months, there'll be a Kepler integration. A lot of this it takes a lot more digging into them than we're going to do here, but generally, like I said at the top, is that this is going to be a massive usability boost for the Forge decks. These guys from Forge, who were originally from Orbital Apes, that I think they're a very, very, very good team. They do things well, they hit their targets, and they bring in things that people need. It's a credit really to the Evmos DAO team that they've got this partnership with these guys, Forge. They've brought them in, they've made them feel loved, they've paid them, and they've got them to really do some great building. So it's good for Evmos. The final thing that I wanted to mention, which is also very important and very good, although there's no real mention of how this Revert Finance, how they tend to monetize their product. Here we go. Here's the two parts: Ethereum or Polygon. How they intend to monetize their product. There is discussion here, or planning here for the fees, or a portion of the fees from this implementation, to go into the Forge community multisig. I would love it if there was a link here so that we could see what's in the multisig safe, and as the withdrawal address. So when people use this new Revert Finance tool, the fees that will be generated, a portion of those fees are going to go into the Forge community multi-sig. So they're going to have a treasury of their own to go and spend to do things. This, they say here, and I quote, "This will demonstrate Revert's commitment and alignment to Forge's core concept of being community owned, assisting the long-term goal of becoming a self-sustainable public good of Evmos, and shows good faith in Revert's desire to grow alongside with the Evmos community." And with that, I'm going to tell you immediately how I'm going to vote on this. And along with everyone else, it's a yes. This one's, there's no real controversy here. Some people abstained. Not really sure why. Perhaps it's the price tag, but price tag aside, the fact that it's going to be self-sustainable means that you're not just paying for this, but you're paying for anything else that these guys decide would be useful in the future, depending on how many people actually use it. I don't know how much revenue they're going to get from fees alone, because fees aren't very high on Evmos. So I don't know how much that would be. It would be nice to have a little, I guess it would be a pure guesstimation of how much that will be. So yeah, on this proposal, for me, it's definitely a yes. I love the fact that we've got the fund actually funding public goods and trying to create self-sustaining public goods. Whether or not it will be self-sustaining on fees alone, I doubt it, but actually I think that it may not be self-sustaining, like the Revert finance part may not be self-sustaining, but I think it would at least subsidize its own thing, and then the fees from the other trading parts will also be going into the Forge community multi-sig. So yeah, they'll have no problem staying afloat in the long run. Now let's go on to the fourth and final DAO that we're going to look at today, and that is DAODAO on Juno. So Juno is we looked at it at the top. Juno is a sovereign chain in the Cosmos IBC ecosystem. People who staked Cosmos a long time ago would have got an airdrop, and it went up really high. The value went up really high, but at the moment it's in the toilet. It was literally 2%. We're 2% off all-time lows. Each coin is 66 cents. And I think, I'm going to say this here, bold and proud, I think that now is actually a very good time to buy Juno. I think buying something at an all-time low when it's 98% off its all-time highs is the perfect time to buy something. It's a little over a year ago that was at its all-time high. Now it's at its all-time low. Go and get it. Go and buy it. I think it was going to be, this is not financial advice, by the way. I think it's going to be saved by these DAOs and these sub-DAOs, because obviously I believe DAOs are the future. The way these DAOs are set up is a little bit different to how regular DAOs are set up. Not regular DAOs, how the other DAOs that we've looked at so far are set up, whereby these ones, you've got members, the members get a vote, the vote goes on. That does not make them as centralized as you think, because these DAOs, let's say, for example, this one is the core sub-DAO. These DAOs are beneath higher DAOs. So, for example, the core one sub-DAO is answerable to the actual Juno governance layer. So the Juno governance layer, if these guys do something outrageous, they can veto what it is that they're deciding to do. So we're going to look at two proposals on DAODAO, actually, on the core one sub-DAO. Because DAODAO, there are plenty of DAOs here, and you can create your own DAO in a few clicks. We'll probably do that in another video. But there's a DAO here for a hackathon. There's NetaDAO. There's the communications, Juno communications sub-DAO, Juno delegation sub-DAO, Juno growth fund. There's loads of these different entities. Here we've got, if we look at core one DAO, which I can't seem to click. This is a little bit annoying, this the way these featured DAOs scroll across the page is a little bit annoying. It shows the treasury. There's $3 million estimated value in the treasury. We can click here and look into it. That $3 million is almost exclusively in Juno. So there's $4 million of Juno. As we know, Juno is at an all-time low. I think Juno should recover. Should it hit all-time highs again? Maybe not, but it might get to 10% of that, which is 10x almost of where it is now. So I think that should recover. If it does recover, this 4 million Juno becomes 40 million Juno. This 3 million estimated USD value becomes 30 million estimated USD value. The same thing can happen, obviously, in the other direction. If the price continues to fall, this 4 million Juno could be worth, it literally could be worth nothing, but those are the risks. To mitigate that risk, as I've said in other shows, I'd like to see a portion of this Juno be held in USDC. Not a big portion, because stable coins are really struggling, but perhaps something like Atom, hold a portion of the Juno. A portion of this Juno should be converted to Atom. I would say it's more stable, so you know that even if the Juno price really falls, you can still operate. You've got a bit more runway, or a bit more of a bit more of a runway that you can predict. Right? So anyway, let's look at these proposals. There's two proposals that I really wanted to look at. The first one we're going to look at really quickly. It's for development grants. Now, this is an example of a terrible proposal. It really assumes that you know what's gone before it, and it would have only taken an extra line just to say this is the payments part of such and such proposal. Now, what you need, the prerequisite for that proposal, you really need to know is, well, this is a part of it. So this is the main proposal that we're going to look at today, which is the long-term vesting payments for the developers on Juno. So the payments are going to be 400,000 Juno each, vested over 3 years. The tokens will vest linearly over 3 years, with a start date of 1st of May, except for Reese, who will be starting on the 1st of March. Now, Reese, a linear vesting means that you get your money like bit by bit over the term of 3 years. So it's not going to go like a curve. It's going to go in a straight line. So each month you get your payment, and it's over a period of 3 years. Now, for some reason I couldn't move that there. There's 3 developers. Each of them are getting 400,000 Juno each, which is 1.2 million Juno, which at the time right now is, I think it's about 2/3. Yeah, so it's about $800,000 right now. But over the years, if the price of Juno comes up, this could become a very substantial wage for these guys. That's one of the cons, I guess, is that it won't account for if the price goes up. $800,000 could become $8 million, could become $80 million. Who knows? But these 3 guys, if this does happen and the price does recover, I guess these 3 guys earn it. They deserve it. They said that in here there's some, these developers are the best in the space, etc., etc. Well, who knows? Everybody says that they've got the best developers. We're honored to have them building and providing value for Juno, etc., etc. So the 3-year thing, the good thing about it is obviously it incentivizes them to work considering the long term. Sometimes developers can create spaghetti code because it's quicker and easier, poor documentation, things like that, which just go to show that they're only here for a quick time. If you're like me and you work a lot with freelancers, you'll realize that they produce terrible documentation, if they produce any. So if you've got these types of guys or these people who, for whatever reason, are tied into the project for a number of years, it's going to be better, I would say. I think you're going to get a better, they're going to be working better because their pay's guaranteed, providing the price holds, I guess. And they're also going to be working for the long run because they know that they're going to be having to use this. It's not going to be someone else's problem. So I really like this way of incentivizing. I think I guess it's a difficult thing to do, but I think I may prefer it if they were actually getting paid in Atom, because then you know that regardless of the price of Juno, their wage is secured. With these guys, if Juno dropped low enough, they could break out of their golden handcuffs, as we call it in the banking world, and just leave regardless, and leave their vesting behind. What I do also like about this way of paying them is that this can be stopped at any time by the Juno community. So because this DAO runs underneath Juno, it does mean that Juno can be the ultimate, as they call it here, the ultimate arbiter of disputes. Now that does make it a lot less centralized than this fact that there's only 7 people voting would have you believe. Because if people don't like what the 7 people are doing, then it can go to a big over Juno vote, like a vote of no confidence, or a referendum, if you will. So pros and cons, let's just say. The pros, I would say, the great incentive structure, as I've just discussed, that funds development for years, and also that it's overseen ultimately by the Juno. The cons are that this proposal also, and I don't know what it is about these proposals at the moment, but this proposal also has no links. There doesn't seem to be any links here at all. So it would be good if these guys, which it looks like are doxed, because Noah, Reese and Zeke looks like those are their first names. If they are doxed, then it would be nice if we could get their LinkedIn, see what they've done in the past, what it is they plan on doing in the future. There's no talk about roadmaps. There's no talk about what they're actually going to be paid for. If that is in another proposal, which it could well be, then there should be a link to that proposal. The concept of assuming that people know all about a DAO before they read the first proposal, or before they read your proposal, I think it's somewhat arrogant. So DAO maximalist who put this proposal together, he really needs to take that into account. There may be a thing, oh well, you don't know, because you don't know about it. Well, obviously I don't know, because it's literally the first thing I've ever come to see. I should be doing my own research. I should be finding out as much as I can. And to aid me in doing that, you should add links. There should be links to all of these things. They say about the value that they've added already, but I would like to see links to their links to their GitHub and all those sorts of things. Of course, I could find it myself, but if they had links, that would be perfect. Even if, let's go back and look at this -1. They've got links. The links are there. You can go and click it. You can see it. This is what we've done. This is when we've done it. They've got all of these things. There's none of that in here. And I know this is probably only just the vesting part, but the main proposal to pay these guys should show. Let's see if I can find it. Well, let's see. We've got hire Reese as a development lead. Reese has been instrumental in stepping up to lead Juno core development and speeding up the launch of new features such as Token Factory, Fee Share, and many others. Moreover, he's also recently helped. This proposal also doesn't have any links. Hire him as full-time development lead, 11,000 Juno, vesting contract, 150k Juno, vested over 3 years with core 1 sub DAO as admin, right to cancel. So this changed since February from 150,000 to 400,000. I wonder why. Let's see, from January, we'll go about 90 days ago. From February, so that explains it. So there's been a price drop since then. So from $1.61 down to 67. So that would explain why the amount of Juno that he's getting paid has rocketed, because the value of Juno has dropped so significantly. And that's going to be the problem with this 3-year vesting. If the value continues to drop, Reese will be getting paid far less than he should be. Okay, so to sum it all up, I wouldn't have got a vote in this because that's not how this works, but If I did get a vote, if I was one of these 7 members, imaginarily, I would vote yes on this. I really like this way of paying. I think this is another option that should be explored more by other DAOs. Should be explored more. It would be good if you could do something like this with exchanges, with like on the PIVX proposal where there was that massive exchange payment which all got to be paid at one time. So it's also good for a coin's price action. If the payments are being invested over a period of time, you can give someone a really big substantial payout and not worry about them dumping it on the market because it is coming out bit by bit. So I really do like this proposal. Obviously I keep on complaining about it. I would love it if there was some links there, if there was a bit more background in here, because there's a lot of information about Reese in the proposal to make him lead dev, and none of that is included in here. So I shouldn't be expected to go and have to dig that out myself. You should link to it. Other than that, DAO looks strong. I'd like to do a proposal. I'd like to do a video on it at some point, purely on DAO. I would have voted yes on this. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's really good. I think Juno, because of DAO, I think Juno is now one to watch. It's 98% down from its all-time high. I don't know if it gets much cheaper than this, but maybe it does. But yeah, I think it's great. And I'm going to vote yes on it. And I guess that concludes our episode on the 40-minute mark. Well, no, it'd be a little bit more, but almost 45 minutes. So yeah, we got through it in the time. Thank you for watching. Congratulations on getting to the end. Just a few little bits of news. I'm going to probably try and change the format of this a little bit. I might have to swap Evmos for something else. Not because I've lost faith in the project, but just because there's simply not enough happening within governance. The changes and the way that there's has become a core team, which I applied to join and help or get involved with, but I didn't hear anything back. I guess I'm probably not worthy. I'm not competent enough in their eyes. So there's just not enough. There's not enough new blood in here. Everything is hinged now around the new decks and literally nothing else. And there has been nothing else since February, let's say, if we include this refi on Evmos. Build a community owned decks. Well, that's to do with the decks as well. So, there's not been much from outside of that small gang. They've not really onboarded any new ideas or thinkers or proposals in far too long. So Evmos may go. I may replace it with DAODAO or Aragon or something else, but I'm not sure. But we'll look into that. Also, I want to do a little news section. Also, finally, I released a book. It's called the Ultimate DAO Handbook. So I'll put a link to it in the description. You can get that. I think it's like $9 on Kindle. So it's an ebook. So it's well worth reading. Go and read it and tell me how terrible it is. I do love feedback. Yeah, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. If you want to get the word out about your beloved PIVX, your beloved Dash, your beloved Evmos, or your beloved DAODAO and Juno, please go ahead. Also, I'm going to put a link in to my validator friend. I think his name is Community Staking, who also stakes on Juno. He's a validator, is also a validator on Juno. So if you are on Juno and you're looking for someone to validate with, you can validate with him. He comes highly recommended from yours truly. So thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.